women empowerment has changed the landscape of so many industries. Technology, science, and now finally academics. At JBCN International School Parel, we've had three amazing leaders that have helped keep the school in place and intact. And today I'm honored to have a conversation with them. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shinisha, our Deputy Principal of Secondary, Ms. Chitkala, our IGCSE Coordinator, and Ms. Khadija, our Middle School Coordinator. Thank you for coming on this show and enlightening us with your amazing opinions and experience. So, all three of you, like I said, are experienced in the academic world, I believe. But how did all three of your journeys begin? Like, what was the starting point, and how did you eventually become so qualified to your posts today?
Is it anyone's time? Well, I come from a very small town in Karnataka, and education for us was a way of life. My father was a practicing advocate, always felt that we'll have to take up some of the noblest professions in the world. So he was a lawyer, which is one of the noblest professions, and there were some doctors in the house as well. So somewhere they were nudging some of the family members to take up teaching, which is also one of the noblest professions. So naturally, I was guided by my family members to take this profession. But we didn't look at it as a profession. We thought that, let us take up something that will impact or bring a difference in somebody else's life. So it's all about changing thoughts, right? Education is all about transforming somebody's thoughts. So I think it started from there. So I started as a lecturer in junior college in my own hometown, and it continued, and I really enjoyed that process. So I'm very proud to say that I'm a teacher by choice and not by chance.
Okay, so I started getting myself into it. My mother always saw a teacher in me from the start of my young age. Yes, I will say my option is a teacher by chance, not by choice. I didn't want to get into the profession earlier, but yes, over the time, when I started just doing home tutoring and all of that, I realized I could do this as a profession, and this had that insight in me of that. So moving ahead, then I did my B.Ed also after many years of I had a gap between my B.Ed and my graduation years. And after that is something that I took up this, and I think I'm very happy and settled at this right now, and I feel it was the right decision that is taken. Because this is, as ma'am said, it is a profession which gives you even a little bit of, something where you can do what you want to do as a service. It makes you feel happy at the end of it. So it's a noble profession.
I think for me the experience was that my older brother had an health issue, and we saw a lot of help coming his way in terms of his personality development maybe, or his confidence came from his school teachers. And we felt that a good teacher can make a lot of difference. That was my first time when I felt that I must also get into something where I can impact and make a positive impact. So that and over the years I saw my parents also being very good teachers. We two were very different as siblings, and they could handle or give us our own space as well as encouragement that we needed in our own ways. Again, I saw an opportunity there saying that if you are a good teacher, if you can guide, then you can make a lot of difference in people. I didn't know that it would be school teaching. Like Ms. Chitra said, I started off as an educator in an engineering college. I didn't know I would end up in a high school or a middle school, but teaching was surely something I wanted to do. Didn't decide when, but I'm happy what I'm doing, and it's. If you see me outside the school and inside, I'm a very different person. Inside the school, I somehow feel more energetic and always excited to do something. And then I should say thanks to the students.
Truly inspiring, all three journeys. And then our next question is, all three of you, like I said, high post, and you have seen so many learners in a good way, in a bad way, both. But what are, those common misconceptions that learners face, or they believe that this and this is there, and that's a misconception. So what are some of those, and can you provide some advices to prevent that from happening? Because nowadays it's happening too much. So any examples?
I think more than misconception, I felt I spoke about this just yesterday in grade 8. That's what I'm saying that again. That we stereotype ourselves and our peers as well. We already make up our mind that this is all I can do, this is all you can do, and we are very less of risk takers. That is something I would encourage students to say, that you never know, and what maximum can go wrong, you will fail at it. But that's not a failure at all. You actually succeeded in trying it, correct? And then maybe you realize this may not be the best choice. So at least elimination has happened, right, of one choice. If you never tried, that may just stay in your head that I wish I should have, or I could have, I don't know. That's one thing that I would ask everyone to do. That just give it a shot if you feel like you want to do it. No harm.
This is one of the biggest paradoxes in my life, because I feel that today's generation is one of the most forward-thinking and modern thinking generation. Yet we see a lot of intolerance and unacceptance among the peers. So I think that is something that I think the youth today needs to be more educated on. Acceptance of peers is something that I find today's generation finding a lot of issues with. At the same time, I also feel that they have not really understood the essence of school, right? Many of them don't define why they come to school, or what kind of a difference schools can make. So I think today's generation should while they have all the intelligences that you have and you acquire, I just feel that a little bit of sensitivity and empathy is something that our students and this generation should learn more.
Okay.
I generally feel that there is a little bit of thing of understanding school as something where I'm just going to learn something. I'm just going to, these are my book, these are my subject. But beyond that, you are doing quite much more than that. You are developing yourself as an individual. There are a lot of, those small moments of your life which you cherish it later. So I think enjoying that every part of your day, your every success and even every failure should be enjoyed, because that failure is the one that will make you much better. So that is something that I feel as students, it should be taken into it and take it as a learning platform, rather than just coming and thinking about I have to do Hindi, I have to do Marathi, I have to do math. No, it's not just that.
That's a great question.
Thank you. We will take more questions away, but before that, I'm proud to announce that Outreach Choices have launched a small merchandise collection called Empathy Essentials.
Okay.
And whatever earnings that Outreach Choices gets, all of that is going to charity. So for our viewers out there, now is a small advertisement to know what you can buy, and we'll be back with some more questions. Stay tuned. You saw that amazing products, and for a good cause, must be a must buy for all of you watching out there, and Miss, perhaps you can support us too. So Outreach Choices has launched a new initiative. So they have a group of learners that are called leaders for that month, and they organize events. So this podcast, which we are part of, is part of the events that the January group has announced.
Oh.
Yeah, and the leaders have they want to ask you some questions. So we'll start with Miss Khadija, middle school coordinator. This is from Ali. What is your main focus for supporting middle school students this year? And
As I just said sometime back, that for me, middle school is an age where a child is really a little confused also whether it is it's yet a child or yet, it's getting into that. Academic is heavy, everything. So that is a balance which is always wanted over there for them. So I would like to get them first to that understanding that they need to, if they are not that big also, they are not, they have to take decisions of their parents and things certain time, as well as certain things we have to give them the room to decide also. So both have to be balanced well for them at a middle school level. At the same time, academically also they need little support which we should be guiding and giving them on and off.
Thank you, Miss Chitkala. This one's from Kaina, our podcast manager. Being the IGCSE coordinator, how do you engage and support students who may be struggling academically or socially in the school?
It's a very good question, I must say, because mostly when they come to 9th and 10th, the focus is on academics and on performances and proving competencies, right? So I think we always say that theoretically it all sounds good when we say that you should be focusing more on improving your competencies and on proving your competencies. But I know there's a tough world out there. One of the biggest advantages with the Cambridge curriculum is that it doesn't look at subjects as just content driven, right? It takes you to certain real life situations as well. So I think one of the ways where we can lessen the burden of academic pressure in most of our learners is to allow them that space to see how whatever they learn in the classroom fits their discipline. Everyone need not amass the information the way somebody else does in the class, right? So I think it's very important that we also encourage them to understand what's their personal capacity and their personal aspirations. So linking personal aspirations with their academic goals is something I think as schools, the school leaders should be supporting them with, right? We can't be judging everyone with the same lenses.
Right.
We won't be able to do that successfully at all. So I think it's trying to give a personality to each individual through the curriculum.
Thank you. Another one for Ms. Chitkala. Being the IGCSE coordinator, what are some of the challenges you face in your day-to-day, job, and how do you tackle them?
We live for challenges actually, because if there's no challenge that day, that means we've not done anything. So that's how it is, and it's sometimes it's a great problem to have as well, right? We know that we're all dealing with teenagers, so teenage years are never like uneventful, right? There'll always be something happening. But I think one of the major challenges is, I don't know whether I'll be able to simplify it for you. I think one of the challenges is there's always a difference between how a leader or a teacher looks at the school vision and whether that vision has been brought down to the learner level, because I think we both are working towards a goal, but we're not very clear as to how we both work together towards it. I think that's one of the challenges, because we work separately and learners work separately, right? So I think that is something that I see as a challenge, and in the future I really want to resolve this challenge by involving the learners actively into the school vision as well. So this is one of the major challenges that I'm facing at the moment.
Thank you, Miss. Now, another one for Miss Chitkala. Quite a popular person among them. Miss, so could you please provide some guidance on how we can best prepare for the upcoming IGCSE exams in terms of time management and study strategies? This one is from Kamya.
Good question. Maybe it's come too late. No, it's never too late. Okay, so what happens is, I think in IGCSE for that matter, you develop certain skills over the years, right? You don't develop a skill for the exam.
Correct.
Right? So if you're not a person who's managed time in the last 2 years, you won't be able to do that just for exams. Right? Or self-management for that matter. Unless you know those things at a generic level on a daily basis, exams can't bring all these skills in you, right? So in a way, we focus more at an early age, right from middle school or here, to educate learners on how to manage self and how to manage time. One simple mantra that I always share with most of my learners is it's never too late to begin anything, right? So the day you decide that I have to do something or achieve something, that's the best day to begin anything.
Yeah.
For me, consistency is the key. I always say that you do something, you've improved 5 minutes of your day's time by doing something useful, and you do it consistently. That's going to help build a habit. For me, learning is a habit. For most of the students, learning should become a habit, right? So it's all about doing something in a small way consistently. That's what Atomic Habits also talks about, right? It talks about consistency. Small things on a daily basis, every day.
Right. Thank you so much, all three of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, thank you for taking time out, given your important posts, and I hope that you had a good time with me. I hope I've been a good host.
Small difference is a big difference.
Thank you. So that was it for this episode of Classroom Conversations, and stay tuned for another one. We'll be back shortly. Thank you again, all three, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.